Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. My name is Tanayol, and I'm an anchor with World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform where industry greats come together to share their knowledge, experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices with one another, as well as with upcoming future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings of all our industry veterans. We also hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leader interviews, we can create a global community of eminent personalities. By bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly help everyone as we can identify, nurture, and work on trade secrets that have already proven a success formula for so many. And this is what we aim for with these sessions by making them a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge sharing community. We have one such industry giant on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Miss Richa Shekhar. We welcome you on the show, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tanay.
She has an illustrious career honed over 22 years in the financial services and outsourcing sectors, consistently demonstrating her excellent leadership abilities and strategic acumen. With a focus on investment management, asset servicing, treasury operations, and insurance, her career trajectory has been marked by remarkable achievements, impactful initiatives, and continuous growth. Her latest role has been Senior Director Principal Asset Management at Principal Global Services Private Limited, where she has showcased visionary leadership in building and heading IT and business operations, fostering innovation, and driving long-term sustainability. So, Ms. Shekhar, could you please let our viewers know about your career journey in brief with your early inspirations, important achievements, strategic decisions shaping your professional life?
Sure, Tanay. I will do that. First of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm excited to be here on the FaceTime with you. My earlier inspirations during my career, right? So let me start from there. And that started right at my home, and that was from my mother. So she has been my initial career inspiration, and she was a doctor, and she comes from an era where not many women were actually pursuing career or profession, right? And I was very inspired to see how she was managing or balancing both between home and her career. Of course, she faced a lot of challenges, both at work front as well as at home. But she did not, leave her passion. She continued working. And I was very impressed by that perseverance and determination that she had, she demonstrated. Also, she being working and being financially independent gave her a very different standing in the society and the family, right? And that impression stayed with me for very long, all right? And I carry it even today. It started at home. But obviously, as I started my journey, there were a lot of my supervisors who supported me and helped me, who mentored me. So, of course, they are also my inspirations. And I will always be thankful to them as well, right? Talking about how I started my career. So I did my postgraduate diploma in finance and marketing. Once I completed my post-graduation, I was very clear that I'm going to take up something in the financial sector. But maybe during that early ages, I was not very clear on my career goals. So I did not know where to start. So started my career with an entry-level job as a process associate with GE Capital. And those were the early days of ITS or the outsourcing, sector, so to say. And from there onwards, in the last 22 years, I have moved from process associate to a senior director. And I think that in itself has been an achievement for me, right? To call out some of the milestones or some of the things which I really look upon and reflect back and say, okay, these were my achievements. I can talk about some of them. So I feel I take a lot of pride in saying that my teams have always been very high performers consistently. They have met actually exceeded most of their metrics deliverables and have delivered high quality deliverables. My team scores for both employees and customers we used to have multiple surveys, have always been high, which talks about the kind of trust both the customers as well as the employees had in my leadership. So I think I count them as great achievements for that matter. And then I also was during my career able to take a lot of participate in a lot of projects, right, which came through. To call out some of them were a lot of process transition projects. Then there were transformation and process re-engineering projects, which I was part of. One or many of them I led actually. And I also led one of the infra optimization projects, right, which was a big challenge because it was encompassing the entire organization, right? And it was delivered successfully and got a lot of applauses for it. So, and that also helped me build my horizon because, doing something which is out of your core business, definitely adds a lot of value, and gives you different perspective. And last but not the least, I would say, in most of my leadership roles, I have actually doubled or tripled the size of my team and have brought in high quality and high end work, right? And new roles into the region. So, yeah, I consider them as some of my achievements.
Amazing.
What strategic decisions I took, which has helped me, maybe I would just like to talk a little about it. So I think I have spent a lot of time in building very good relationship with my key stakeholders, right? I've spent time in trying to understand them, understand their needs, expectations, work with them, and help them in solutioning. That does not mean you always have to say a yes to your stakeholders or to the customers. There are times when you have to push back, but how you do it really depends on what kind of trust and confidence you have built with them, right? So that has been one of my decisions which has helped me in my career. The other one has been, about how I believe in managing my team. So I always have built good trust with them. I have been very active listener, to their needs as well. I have empowered them, right? And I believe that, you can only achieve more if your people are empowered to do things and they bring in their perspective. So that has really helped me bring a lot of changes and, achieve a lot as a team together, right? And what else? I have also spent a lot of time in understanding the business. So I will not say I'm an expert in each function of my business, but I understand the investment management as a business, for example, very well, end to end, right? And this has really helped me get that advantage when you talk to very senior leaders, right? Because they want leaders who understand their business, because only when you understand is when you can add value, right? So that has really helped me a lot. And of course, having very clear communication, having transparency in the team, aligning the team to the vision of the organization really helps the team also to do their best and feel a part of the organization. So these are some of the things that I have used, which has helped me with my achievement. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, as you have a vast professional purview, which roles have you enjoyed the most?
So yeah, I actually have enjoyed most or almost all the roles that I've done. But if I have to call out one, I would say it was when I joined as a leader in one of the MNCs, and I was supposed to lead a multi-boutique investment management team there. When I say multi-boutique team, it means each of these firms have their own investment strategy. They are very independent of each other. That's how the model was. So, they were across geographies, they had their own culture, they had their own setup, their own leaders, and they were all working independent of each other. While they were under the flagship of a bigger organization, they maintained their own identity, right? So when I took up that role, there were a lot of challenges there. The boutique leaders and the organization leaders overall were not very happy with the India leadership at that point of time. There was lack of trust, there was lack of respect, and there was a lot of doubt in mind in their minds. The team did not have a vision or a direction, right? So they were a little lost. The attrition rates were extremely high at that point, and the teams were at a standstill, so they were not growing, right? We continued doing what we probably got years back, and that's how the team continued. So there were a lot of challenges, and I was actually overwhelmed when I took this role, thinking how I'm going to address them. When I say multi-boutique, and stakeholders, I'm talking about 20 plus stakeholders. So the numbers were really big. But in 4 to 5 years of time, I made a sea change there. And that was very challenging and interesting, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. So that the confidence of the stakeholders went up really, really high. The teams were motivated enough. We brought up a lot of initiatives to increase the collaboration in India. Because the boutiques were in silos, the team in India was also working in silos. So I had to get the team together, get the collaboration in there so that we can create more ideas, be more innovative, and create more efficiencies. And that's what we did. We improved on the deliveries. The attrition percentage went down by 10%. I was able to retain the key, the talent in the team. And we were also able to increase the kind of work or the quality of work that we were doing, right? So we got a lot of high-end roles here, and we moved up the value chain, drastically. And in this span, the team actually grew, tripled in size. And while I moved out of that organization, the team is still growing, right? So that was a very interesting one because there were a lot of challenges, and a lot of those I had to kind of think through, use my own strategic thinking to kind of address. So yeah.
What do you consider to be the true leadership skills?
Yeah, so I think the leader's role is extremely important, right? Because most of the organization emulates how your leader is, right? So your team tries to copy how the leader behaves, what kind of decision they take, how they interact with their teams or with the rest of the employees, right? So the impact of a leader, and how they conduct is very high on the team. And at the same time, the leader is also interested with ensuring either they're creating the vision for the organization, or if the vision exists, already understand that vision, right? Come up with the strategic planning, to support that vision and ensure that it's executed, right? For the benefit of the bigger lot, right? Including all stakeholders, shareholders, customers, employees, everybody, right? So it's a gigantic job, so to say, for a leader. Therefore, I think, the way they're positioned, how they're looked upon, and their actions talk, louder than what they say. I think it's very important that leader have certain skills, which is also I thoroughly believe is important. It's close to me. I think they need to be high on integrity. Being transparent, being fair in their, how they approach. They should have effective communication. As I said, it's extremely important of how they align their organization to the vision, and how well they understand, listen to the employees, customers, and other stakeholders, goes a long way of seeing how the organization shapes, right? So effective communication, in my mind, is extremely important, right? Then I would say, creating that culture of trust, right? Of fearlessness, right? Is actually equally important, where employees can come out, talk about what they're feeling, share their thoughts. That brings innovation, that brings a lot of creativity, right? And motivates the team. Should be focused on learning and development of the team, because I think these two go together.
Yeah.
And strategic thinking, decision making, I think, are extremely important, right? For them, making quick decisions, informed decisions, right? Having that vision and thinking faster than maybe the rest of the team or rest of the people, I think, is important for a leader. At the same time, I think being adaptable, because the organizations are changing so fast, the external, the circumstances are changing so fast, that we have to adapt to those changes, to be successful. And so being aware and being adaptable, I think, is equally important. So I think, I would like to call out these skills.
Ma'am, how and when did you develop an interest in ESG and corporate governance? And as someone upskilling herself in these spaces, what values do you bring along?
Yeah, so I think in my corporate journey, because I have spent good time in corporate, about 22 years, I think it's time enough for me to completely realize the importance of governance and corporate governance, right? And it's very important for effective functioning of any corporate organization in any part of the world, right? So I think it is very, very important. And we have seen it in some shape and form in various levels, right? As an employee, we are following some of those, fallouts in terms of policy or procedures that comes in, right, out of the corporate governance. As a leader, I've been responsible in formulating some of the policies and processes, which have been put in place for the better good of the organization and employees and people. So it has always been there, as a journey. And very interestingly, I think, actually it comes very naturally to me, and I've never questioned why corporate governance. I think it's a must and a needed thing. I mean, if I have to give an example, even if think about sports, right? Apparently, we say you play games to have fun, right? But are there any games which doesn't have any rules or policies that are followed or
Really?
procedures that are followed, right? I mean, how do you decide whether the game was fair, right? How do you decide a winner, right? So
Yeah.
so it's there in every place, even in our families for that matter. All of us have certain rules, regulations. So and corporates are are giants, right? They make a huge impact on the economy, on the country, right, and on a lot of our lives. So it is very important. So I've always been interested in it right from the beginning, since the times I've been following it or helping in putting some processes and policies in place, right? And it aligns very closely with my values. So I very strongly believe in integrity, fairness, transparency, equality. And since these are the values and principles, like I said, I never questioned why corporate governance. I think it's a must, it's a requirement. And these are the values that I bring along, as you asked. Now, coming to ESG, I think, again, it has been close to me because I have been very actively involved in a lot of CSR and D&I initiatives throughout my career. And I understand the importance of it, right? Why we might have taken a lot of initiatives, there's still a lot to do, right? I mean, being a woman leader, I can tell you that while we talk about diversity and we're talking about inclusion, there is still work to be done, right?
Yeah.
So I can really feel it and see it. So I see that is very important. And coming to ESG, I think today I think the awareness is really high today, right? Even my daughter understands that there are environmental issues which needs to be addressed, right? How do you do waste management? How do we conserve the environment, right? And what consequences it can have for our future. So the understanding is really high today. And if it's not a part of our strategy or our thinking process, while a group of leaders are thinking and deciding what the organization will do and how they will do it, then we are really missing on a very big aspect, right, and
Mm.
impacting the future. So I think it's a part and parcel, it's a non-negotiable component of every strategic decision we take. And so yeah, ESG is definitely a part of corporate governance, so it goes without saying today.
Yes. Ma'am, what are some of the most remarkable changes you have seen with respect to changes in technology, and what changes do you expect in the future with the advent of IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, Web 3.0?
So yeah, I mean, IT is now playing a very, very big role, right? We
Mm.
can't think of our lives without technology today, right? And it is changing the landscape across, right, across all
Yeah.
sectors. And investment management is no different, right? It's playing a center stage today and bringing a lot of changes. um, I can cite a few things that I've seen and I've been part of, there. So process automation was the first step, right? Where a lot of the processes have got automated. We are removing the manual intervention, making them straight through processing, right? And a lot of low end decision making is also getting automated for that matter, right? So
Mm.
RPA, BPM, all of these are playing, a big role in getting the process automated. And now it's kind of a DNA for the organizations, right, to look at those opportunities. We've seen AI ML also impacting in a huge manner right now. Most of the models are using machine learning, right, to get them models more intuitive and more informative, right, and faster decision making. So it's in every area, right, be it sales, marketing. We are getting into customization or even hyper customization, with the use of data and these predictive analytics and other models. I've seen portfolio managers use it very effectively for their decision making and faster decision making. And now most of the models have ML, right, rather than how the static models used to be earlier. So some of these changes we're seeing adoption of cloud technology, right, which is now rampant. Everybody's moving to cloud now. And obviously it's giving them scalability, ability to scale up their operations functions faster. right, than how it was earlier, because you have to spend a lot of time in development, which is getting reduced. It's helping in cost reduction, and also giving them vendor tools, which is facilitating better checks, balances, control, right, and and risk management. So a lot of these things are already happening. I mean, blockchain is being used for asset tokenization. Now you can own a fraction of a asset, or a artifact or a share, right, which we couldn't have thought about earlier, right? You either own one share or less, or no share. I mean, a fraction of a share is something which we are hearing now, right? So a lot of these changes are happening, which, and then robo advisors, right, where your portfolio is getting built without any manual intervention, or with very less intervention, right? So many of these are happening. I think in a nutshell, these are just helping reducing the time to market, right, time to reach out to the consumers, giving a lot of decision making into the hands of the consumers, and it's making investing much more easier for all strata of the society, right? So I don't need to be a wealthy person to just see how I can get my portfolio done, right? Wealth management exists, but then yeah. So these are some of the things we are seeing, which is big change, and in future I think these are just going to continue. So nothing is stopping, right? And I wonder sometime, maybe today we are controlling these machines. Maybe at some point the machines will be controlling us, right? Because of the speed at which we are relying on machines and the data. I mean, I'll just want to call out that this change is leading to, obviously, making some of the roles redundant, which earlier were, more done manually, which doesn't need much thinking process, right? It's changing the landscape. A lot of roles will become redundant, maybe in near future, right, than how it is today. It's in the process. But new roles will also come in, because the dependency on data is so heavy. Dependency on technology is so heavy that, data privacy, data governance, data safety, cybersecurity, obviously, are gaining center stage. And I mean, there are already talks, I'm sure you're aware of, where people are talking with the speed at which we are increasing technology use. Regulations need to catch up, equally fast, so that these kind of risks can be addressed. So I think the future is more around those, and yeah, I'm excited, and let's see how it spans.
Ma'am, as you know, we're building a community here of industry magnates. This move is meant for cross-pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge-sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. What are your thoughts about this initiative taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Heval Mehta, and the whole World Development Corporation team?
Yeah, I think that's the most important question that you've asked. And I would say this is a great initiative. Well, some communities do exist today, but are they so actively pursuing it? The cause of it, I mean, is something which is to be thought about. And this particular community is really helping in terms of cross-pollination and knowledge sharing, right? This FaceTime is a good example. I do watch a lot of FaceTime, which is already published, on the LinkedIn or other social media by the organization. And but this really helps increase our horizon, our perspective, increase our knowledge base, see things in totality rather than just in silos like we see. So I might read more about investment management sector, but what's happening in insurance somewhere might align or connect, right? Or some of the future services might need a collaboration between the two. So these kind of ideas, thoughts gets triggered when you listen to others. You know what's happening in other industries, and holistically think about it and try and connect the dots to look at the bigger picture and see what more can come out of it. So I think this is really good, and it's a great initiative that has been taken here, and I'm happy to be part of it, to be honest, right? Here, and would like to say a big thank you to Jishan and Havel, right, for the work that they're doing, and for the entire team, for that matter, for the work that they're doing. A very committed and dedicated team. I can see that from my own personal experience.
Great, ma'am. Ma'am, it was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that your insights will greatly inspire future leaders. So thank you so much for joining us today. Wish you the best for your future endeavors, and moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute unquestionably expanded participants' understanding and enriched their minds. Thank you so much for taking your time for us today, ma'am.
Thank you, Tanay. And it was nice talking to you. Thank you for being a great anchor and for the illustrious introduction that you gave of me, right? So thank you.
My pleasure, ma'am. Have a great day ahead.
You too.